critical to their items, they all relate to issues of documentation and procedures that lead to documentation. They're not issues that relate to hazardous conditions for students or staff. I think that's probably the single most important thing I can say this evening. It really is a documentation tool. The administration has been really active in terms of responding to that. Again, we got the letter last week. We're anticipating being complete with generating and documenting all those items by the end of this week. So it's really responding just as fast as could possibly be. One of the pieces of this is the school district's required to have a designated person. It's a state law. Every school district has that, have a designated person. It's really a point person for asbestos issues. So the state knows they can contact one person, use them as a conduit to get answers and create action. So to that end, Aries, your new asbestos consultant, has a proposal for the board for consideration to become the designated person. So that fulfills the requirement of paperwork, and there's components and processes relate to that. So we think the proposal is fair. We recommend approval and consideration of that proposal.
Thank you. And Dr. O'Malley, if you can, I noticed that the proposal was not in the board packet, so if you could get that and get that to the board so we could.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Jeff, is there anything you want to add to?
The only thing I would say is that it's not just to be the designated person, it's to assist the district and make sure that all the documentation and the programs are in place going forward so we're compliant. It's that whole package, it's not just a signatory or something like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all Buildings and Grounds has.
Any questions for Buildings and Grounds? Thank you. Academic Advisor for Student Excellence of the report, negotiation and development report, Finance Committee.
Yeah, I was here. Finance Committee met today with Dr. Schilling present to talk about the proposed budget, which was adopted tonight. Just to bring forward to everybody what happened with it is we are currently on task with the deficit reduction plan. We have hit all of our goals for this year presently. Moving on to the future, what was discussed for those that didn't make the meeting, through SB1, through any possible increase of taxes due to new businesses built, anything to that effect, those will still not help us for next year. So with finance moving forward, we still have to entertain our phase 2 of the deficit reduction plan and see what we can move on with. We'll report more after we get more figures.
Thank you. Any questions for Finance? Thank you. Norwich Park District will meet in closed session for release communications.
Communications. Well, we're in the process of adding some new members to our communications committee. Currently it's Jennifer and I, and the registration process ended, and we've had 8 community members that submitted their interest to be on our communications committee. Currently, the finance committee has 3 individuals on it. Our buildings and grounds committee has 4. So I would think that our communications committee might be somewhere between 4 to 7 people, 4 to 6, depending on the level of, what's the word I want to use here, the backgrounds that these individuals have, because we're definitely going to, we're looking for individuals that have that strong communication skill, but not necessarily that holding them to that, but there's, we're going to, so we're in the process of finalizing who the 4 to 7 will be, so just stay tuned.
We'll be calling and
Yes.
scheduling interviews within the next 30 days so that hopefully we can keep this momentum going.
Mm-hmm. So we're finding that having our community members a part of these outside of in our committees, it gets them to understand truly what's going on, not only with the buildings, but with finances. These are extensions of us into the community, so we're looking forward to bringing on the 4 to 7 members. So that's all we get.
Any questions for communications? Thank you. Mike, ISAB delegate.
October 3rd is the dinner. We need to get that into Sarah. I think we only, by the end of the week, I think it's due, correct, Sarah? Yeah. And that's for partnering with a purpose, a pathway to trust. I think that's building trust with the community. I think we've been working very hard at that and making a lot of success with the community members that have been involved with us. And I think this should only enhance what we've been doing and maybe help us out a little bit more and get us set on the straight and narrow for this. So please make sure. It's at Manheim Middle School, 2600 Hyde Park Avenue in Melrose Park. 6 o'clock.
Please let Sarah know sooner versus later if you're able to attend this training.
The school does give you a little presentation on it.
What was the address? I'm sorry.
2600 Hyde Park Avenue in Melrose Park.
We'll have an email sent out with the information.
And also the IS, or rather the Triple I Conference is coming up to where for early registration. Yeah, I think it ends in another week or so also. So if you're interested in going into that, and they have a few good programs that they will be, or classes that they will be given. So.
Great way to get your training.
Yes. It's all downtown, so.
Thank you. Any other questions for the delegate? Great. Old business, it was placeholder for the Park District. We'll talk about that in closed session. Hey, we, Dr. Malley, under the development of board policy, have we heard anything back from the ISU?
No.
No? We can follow up with them. Thank you.
That's Brian, so.
Right. Any new business?
Servo, do you have any more information for Dr. O'Malley about the vandalism that occurred here at Lee School to our maintenance shed, equipment, all our equipment that we had in there?
No information was provided. We filed a police report. We have not even received a copy of the police report back. So I talked with Petter earlier, Director of Buildings and Grounds, and he says today he hasn't received it. I think it's been over a month.
We put a request in to get a copy of it.
Yeah.
And then there was also police were called to Lee School on August 5th at approximately 6 o'clock. Could you also have Patter see if the police department contacted the school on why the police were called to our property and what happened?
What was the date again?
August 5th at approximately 6 p.m. Any other new business? Thank you. Board comments? I'd really like to thank the parents. I'd like to echo what Pasquale, with the families and the community really stepping up and helping out with the landscaping. It is greatly appreciated, and we do realize that it's taking time away from your Saturday, and I know that there's a staff member that have come also, and board members that have attended. So I'd like to say thank you for doing past your meeting.
And Sunday.
It's Sunday too.
And Sunday, yeah. We also like to thank Francine. I'm sorry, I don't want to single out anybody, but also we're looking at a couple of grants for in the back of the building here. We have a new pathway that has been cleaned up and walking through, and hopefully we can get the grants and then put the flowers or whatever flower boxes in there and make that like a little field trip for the kids to walk through and everything in there. So the grants are being hopefully worked on, and we could receive, unless somebody has any extra money they want to donate, just throw it out there. But
Great.
thanks for all the help.
Any other board comments? Great. Move to consent agenda. Public participation. Sign issue. Would anyone like to sign in on the public participation sheet?
This is yours. You can turn that into syrup.
This is the last one.